Hi, this is Fritz Gilbert with the Retirement Manifesto, and today I'm going to show you how to do laminate flooring on a cement base. We're going to be installing this Traffic Master laminate flooring in a 10 by 15 square foot office with a closet. So here's how you do it. So the first question you have to ask is, do you need to remove the baseboard? So let me show you what we're dealing with in this project. And you can see on this one we do have baseboards. They go all the way down, flush to the ground. You see there's no gap there. So you could run the wood right against that and do a quarter round. I prefer to give it a more professional look and take the baseboards off, so we're going to do that. Second thing you need to look at is the bottom of your door jambs. And you can see these also go down flush to the ground. So we're going to cut that off at a high enough gap to be able to put the wood flooring underneath it. So that's what we're going to do next. So as you're getting ready to move the baseboard, a lot of times you'll have caulk between the baseboard and the drywall. I found if you just run a quick X-Acto knife down that edge, it makes it a lot easier to peel it off. Next thing you want to do is you want to start on the edge of your baseboard that's got the flush cut. You don't want to do the miter cut because it's a lot harder to do. So what I do is I take a little flat crowbar and I just start on the edge. Tap it in, start to work it loose. I move to the other side. It comes out pretty easy. You work your way all the way down the wall. That's how you get the baseboard off. Once you've got the baseboards off, you gotta look at your door jambs as well. And you've got to clear this out so there's room for the wood to go underneath it. So what you want to do is you want to put your underlayment down, put a piece of the wood on top. Gives you an idea of the height. You can go ahead and mark that if you'd like. I've already done that. And I've got this little Dremel saw max, which works really well for this with a cutting blade. And if I lay it on the floor, it's exactly the same height as that wood. So that works out really well for what I'm using. You can use just about anything to cut this that you've got. I found this works real well. Okay, now that you've taken the baseboard off, cutting underneath the door joists, you lay down some underlayment, which is basically a waterproof barrier between the cement and the wood. Make sure you get that down before you start laying out the boards. One shortcut that works out pretty well is you want to cut some spacers to go along the wall. I'll show you when I put them down. Basically, just take a strap piece or shorter piece that you've got and just cut off some of the short pieces. Okay, to start laying down the first piece, you want to put these spacers in, as I mentioned, on both the top end and the sides. That allows for the thermal expansion as the wood gets more moisture or dries out. So it'll expand and contract. So you might want to make sure you have it spaced. You want to go down the longest wall. And you start with the spacers, you lay it in there, and you start building it. So here we go. As you put your second piece in, you basically lock this edge. And I'll show you, it's more important when you start coming out this way, but basically these will pinch together. I just use a rubber mallet. Make sure you're straight. Pinch that corner down. Make sure that you're straight at the intersection, because otherwise you'll get off as the floor progresses across the room. As you start the second row, what you want to do is stagger these seams. You don't want to have all the seams lined up because you need the integrity of the bridging action. So you want to move this back. I move it back about 18 inches. Or you can take an offcut from the far side and bring it down. But basically, just make sure that you're not lining up those seams as you start building your way across the room. Okay, as you start putting these pieces together, it's really straightforward. You basically come in, you can kind of feel it catch. You go into the 25-degree angle about like that, and then you come down, it snaps, and you can tell it locks right in. That's all there is to it. Okay, once you get over to the end of your first layer of the vapor barrier, obviously just lay the second piece in there, tape it on with the underlayment tape. Okay, to show you how to end one of the rows here, what you find when you get up to the wall, obviously your pieces aren't going to be the right length. In this case, it's too long. What you need though, is you need this edge to go flush against this edge because they snap together. So what I found the best way to do, rather than try to figure out where to cut it down there, if you just flip this over, put that against the wall where you want it, could use a spacer. And then what I do is I mark it on this side to make sure it lines up right there with the edge of the wood. And I cut it there, and that way you've got, I'll show you here when I finish the piece. So now you can see the piece is the right length, and you've got the right edge up against this one so that it'll snap. Nothing to it. Okay, to work around door jambs, I basically just line it up on the one side where it's going to be flush with the preceding board, and I mark out where it needs to be going to fit tightly around the area that we've trimmed around the door. So now we're getting down close to the finish here, and you can see we're on the last board, and what I've done here is I just basically mark it, again flipping it over, so you've got the right edge here that will snap into the lip here, and I just measured it down. You could use a table saw, that'd probably be best. I don't have mine set up right now, I'm still building my shop, so I'm just going to use a circular saw to cut off that width. I would like that to be a little bit wider, but it'll be, you know, protected by the baseboard, so it'll be fine. So we got the last piece down, and now all we're doing is the final step, putting in the baseboard. Basically just put it back in place and nail it back down. I'll put some little cord around under the doors. Probably do that after I do the video. I'll do that on all the door frames just to clean that up a little bit. Put the trim in, and we are done.